I really, really like my topic. My topic is just literally about a real-world example of a deployment. It's something that I always look for when I go to the seminars. Like, I know what I did, I'd love to hear what other people did. And so I was really excited to be able to tell our story, the National Australia Bank story, and what we did and how we did it and how we deployed digital signage to all our stores. And I love sharing it. I could talk about it for years. So I've been doing it for about 5 years. So I'm a veteran in the whole industry, I reckon, because it's such a new industry, even though this is 10 years old, but for me, 5 years is a long time. And it started with only about 40 screens. We have 800 stores. We now have screens in all the stores. We have what we call our video walls. And it's really exciting. Like, we manage 1,000 screens, but 800 locations. But it's not about the hardware. I never make it about the hardware. The hardware is secondary, it's the content. So all the content's made within my team, in-house. We do not outsource any of the content. We do not go to agencies. We make it ourselves. What we do is we do a lot of animations, and I've got a definite content strategy around lining up in a bank is really boring and actually can really annoy you. So we try to entertain the customer. So we do things like trivia questions on the screens. It's not about marketing, it's not about us, it's about them. And that's what we do. We make the content about them. We still put our interest rates up because people still care about interest rates. That's something you kind of want to know. Everyone's got a mortgage or whatever. But with the trivia has been the biggest piece of content that we've done, that around Australia customers are actually writing it down and then going back and yeah, it's hilarious, going back to their office and saying, oh, these are the latest, National Australia Bank trivia questions and all that sort of stuff. Like, it's become a really big hit. Simple little idea. We do a really simple job, so it's a simple animation. I hate tickers, I hate little sidebars. It's one message, one time, that's it. We've got about 500 stores that they still get a DVD, and so we send them a new one every 2 weeks. And then we've got the other 200 that are on digital media players, so we're controlling them, and they get updated every day. And eventually what we're trying to do is our plan is to get everyone onto a digital media player. Do you know what I mean? So then we're not doing the DVDs. It's a bit hard to distribute DVDs all across the country every week. So we've made it every 2 weeks. I was given 40 screens to work with, and I had so much fun. And I thought, imagine if this was a job. And I just loved it so much. And so I sold it. I wrote 3 business cases, not one of them got through. It's really funny. We all try to do the traditional, what's the ROI? Well, you know what? If you're going to try and prove it, good luck. It's a hopeless exercise. I can't prove ROI on digital signage. I just couldn't do it. So it kept hitting me back in the face. And then I teamed up with a partner that we've got, another business partner in Australia that we've got, a telecommunications one, and they gave me funding to set it up because I would work with them on there and they would help me support it. So I actually got innovation funding, set up about 20 screens with the digital signage solution, and then it went off. And then when they saw it, and everyone saw it, so my whole thing and what I said in my seminar just before is, if you build it, they will come. It's basically that. And my mistake was I was trying to build it big straight away. That was the mistake I made. Once I went down and thought, well, actually, it's only going to cost me 50 grand to put up, 20 screens with a new solution and all that sort of stuff. Let's do it. People were more receptive to that. And then when they saw what I could do, because at National Australia Bank or any bank, I don't know if it's the same here, but you can't advertise a rate in print because the rates are so volatile. So the only way we could really advertise our rate in the store was through the screens. Now that was a big selling point. I was on my own for the first 18 months. I was actually burning the DVDs away for the first 18 months, yeah. It was fun though. It was just fun. And if you don't really, really like it, if you're not really, really passionate about it, you're just going to fail. So don't try and do this. That would be my advice to anybody. Don't try and do this if you don't really love it. If you don't think, wow, how cool. What about if you do this on the screen? That have the passion for it, because you'll fail. It's so hard. It's so hard. I was actually working, we've got an internal TV show, and I was a producer on that. So I was just a senior producer before that. Digital retailing manager. So now what I look after is not just digital signage, I look after the digital experience inside our stores. So we've got free public Wi-Fi if you go into one of our stores. We're like a McDonald's or a Starbucks. I look after all the music that goes in the stores. So it's that whole experience. The music is really fun. And all the kind of interactive devices inside the store as well. In-store, so an installation of an interactive screen in-store doesn't work. This is my view. Bespoke kind of marketing interaction thing, like, oh, we're going to be doing this, let's just put an installation outside of the store or wherever, that'll work. But inside a store, a customer, I don't know if this is an Australian thing or an American thing, but we trialled this out, and basically they're too self-conscious, it's too big of a screen to go in public with. Do you know what I mean? And I'm pressing the buttons on the screen, but everyone can see, and what happens if I do something wrong? And especially if it's banking and all that sort of stuff, so it doesn't work. But we still have interactivity, and we do it via an iPad. The thing is, everybody knows how to use an iPad. Like, I don't have to write touch here on an iPad because it's the number one consumer product in the world and everyone knows how to use it. Then what we did with the iPad is we made our own apps. So we made this little app, it's just for the stores, it's not in the Apple Store or anything, it's just for our stores. And we made an app, and a customer can come in and put their community event in, like our school's having this, whatever. The next day it's up on the screens. I'm not saying they don't work, because I think in a Westfield, they're absolutely, you need them. Like for wayfinding, they're absolutely fantastic because you don't feel too self-conscious. But what am I going to, we trialled it in a bank. We had 20,000 people look at it and 1,800 use it. Well, the cool thing about the iPad too is, like, we've got a NAB app. We call ourselves NAB, so National Australia Bank NAB. And we've got an app, so you're kind of promoting your own app. Then you're saying, oh, here's some in-store apps. Like we made a feedback one so they could tell us what they thought of the design of our store. Did you see the LCD? They can do a happy face or a sad face. Like, we did things like that, just played around with it, because iPads are cheap. Developing an app is cheap. So you just, cheaper than these big things. So I don't know if this is the same, if I'm answering this the right way, but the one thing I see, and I noticed it last year and here too, and I'm going on the signage stuff again, is the translucent stuff. That's where it's going. To me, that's where it's going. In terms of, you're not touching it, but you would definitely look at it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not quite sure if I'm answering the question though, because I haven't seen yeah. But those translucent screens, I just saw the Best Buy one, and I was just like, oh my God, how cool is that? And I remember there was also one where they had, like, so if you've got we call ourselves a retail bank, we're a retailer, we're like a store. I don't call them branches, they're stores. And I remember seeing one where there was just a shoe in a window, but then all the animation went around the shoe. Like, how cool is that, right? And I can imagine us putting our, a rate up there and then something fun up there, but I can still see into the store. I can still see all that. To me, that's my next step. That's where I really want to go. Yeah, because you still want them to interact with you after hours. And, we're bricks and mortar, we're 800 locations. I still want to find something for them to interact with after hours. And I just think that's it looks amazing. And I actually think that's where, in 10 years' time, on the 20th anniversary, we'll all have translucent screens. A guy from my team, Jose, who's here, and he actually makes all the content. Yeah, and I really wanted him to see this as well and get ideas, because we've given him the challenge that he can take one of these ideas and implement it. So he's just going to go back and do something with it. So everyone, we're a bank, right? And obviously banks haven't had a good, although we're a lot more regulated in Australia than it is in America, but we are about cost cutting though, and we are about, saving as much money as we can. So a lot of people had to cut their budgets, but mine increased. So I was one of the only ones that got an increase. How cool is that? I have met it's really cool. Like, I only live in Australia, but I know people here, who I met last year. It's so cool. But also too, just meeting all these other people and talking, you're right, the same language, because usually it's me in the bank and everyone goes, oh, here she goes again, talking about this stuff and whatever, and no one gets really that excited about it. Yeah. Digital Signage Expo, happy 10th anniversary. This is where I come to get connected, because it's probably the only thing like this in the whole world. Last year when I came, when I went back to Australia and told everybody what I saw, I said it was like my Disneyland, because that's all I do. Like, I look after digital signage for the bank, for National Australia Bank, and there was no way I wasn't going to come back the next year. And then to speak was really exciting.